And hello, welcome to Our Ventura TV. I'm MB Hanrahan, and today my guest is Cathy Nye. And Cathy is the coordinator of homeless education programs for in the Office of Education for Ventura County. It's a mouthful. Cathy, welcome. And if you can, give us some context of what you do and why there needs to be this program.
Okay. Like you said, I'm the coordinator for the homeless education program for the Ventura County Office of Ed. This is a mandated position through federal law called the McKinney Vento Act that it actually was originally enacted in 1987. Every single school district in the country is mandated to have a McKinney Vento liaison. So I'm at the county level. So I work with the 20 school districts and 12 charters under the Ventura County Office of Education that and their liaisons. So I provide technical assistance, and I also manage the grant that comes from the state for the program. Most county office of educations throughout California get this grant. It's based on it's a competitive grant that we have to write up a program for every 3 years. But the grant's based on the number of students that are reported from the school districts to be McKinney Vento eligible. So let me give you a little background about McKinney Vento. It's a very different definition than HUD. The students that are counted as eligible to be McKinney Vento are students living in moving vehicles. So they could be living in an RV, but that moves. So we're looking for stationary housing that doesn't move. They could be living in their car. They could be living in a motel or a hotel. They could be living in a place not designed to be a home, a place without electricity or running water. We have people in the community that live in garages and live in sheds behind houses that are not sanctioned ADUs. And then the biggest number, about 90% of the 7,400 students in Ventura County that are registered McKinney Vento are doubled up. They're having to have multiple families live in a household just to be able to meet the rent payment or the mortgage payment. So the family that owns the home isn't McKinney Vento, but every room that they rent out with children, those children are registered as McKinney Vento.
Okay. So coordination, I went to your very important and very informative website, which we can refer to later if you care to. And there were like trainings for community members and I would assume maybe educators. How would people be trained to work with this population? That's what I'm kind of assuming the training would be.
Okay, well, first it's just education that this law exists. When I was on board 5 years ago in this position, one of our district wasn't even asking the residency question, which is now that's not only in federal law, but now it's in state law that you have to ask the residency question. What's your nighttime residency? Where are you sleeping at night? Which, and then they look at that qualification. If they put in that they're doubled up, then we do a little bit of background checking. We have a flow chart because sometimes families live together for convenience. Grandparents and children with their kids might live together out of convenience. But we really want to look like, could that family live alone before we qualify them? So the trainings actually kind of train how this definition is, because we all think homeless and we think of a Skid Row or under an underpass in Los Angeles tent village. We don't have much of that in Ventura, although you can, and at least not family wise. They usually end up at a campground or in a shelter. But the kids are still eligible for those services. So it's educating educators or everybody in school districts about, what these kids might be going through. They could be food insecure. They may not have slept well last night because of where they had to sleep last night and what was going on in the household they were in. They may not have finished their homework because they don't have any place to do their homework. So it's really informing all the educational staff what that child might bring into the classroom every morning.
And how exactly then do you outreach to these youth and their families?
It's usually the local liaisons. Very
Okay.
seldom do I work with the children, but I'll get a telephone call. I've got a new homeless family. Do you have a backpack? Do you have school supplies for them? Do you have resources that I can give to them on getting clothing or, getting on a housing list?
Well, your title very, very clearly says coordinator. So there's deep interface with local communities and then kind of across the board. So you would guide people to this, that, or the other thing. Okay, cool.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
What would be do you want to name some of those organizations just so people maybe they've heard of them or
Sure.
or not?
Well, there's United Way that has
Okay.
the landlord engagement program. Now that's really for them to reach out to landlords to work with them to provide rentals into Section 8 to increase that number of available of affordable housing in the community. There's 211, which is like the phone number for everything. There's Food Share, which has pantries every single day. And there's actually an app you can put on your telephone, see where they're having a pantry that day and time, and go for food. There's Shelter Care Resources located in Oxnard that provides clothing, hygiene. They're a drop spot for, they're a pantry location also. There's, oh my goodness.
No, that's pretty
I have
exhaustive.
a lot listed on my website. So yeah, I have a link for districts because there's certain forms and certain paperwork that they need and trainings. So all the trainings are there because it's mandated that everybody gets trained too. So so school districts can access that those PowerPoints for educational purposes with their staff.
I think it's a perfect time for you to, nice and slow, tell what your website is. I found it to be fascinating. So there you go.
Oh my God, you might have to look at that.
Okay. Well, it's all right. So it'd probably be going through the Ventura County of Education office and then
Right. Yeah, I'm going to it for you. So it's pretty good. So it's, our home link is vcoe.org. You go up to programs and services on the top menu, and you go under what's called special populations. That's our department because we deal with foster youth, migrant education, and homeless education. If you click on homeless education program, it's going to give you community and family resources, district liaison and school staff resources, early education resources for the kids that aren't in school yet, higher education resources for kids that are, have graduated and are looking at high school or college and community college and what the resources are. And then my newsletter, which I put out every other week that deals with local issues, state issues, and national issues, because homelessness education is a national issue. It also has our board policies and administrative regs, the questionnaire, the housing questionnaire, so they can look at what it needs to look like, and then just background on the McKinney Vento. I have brochures on what the students' rights are, and for parents, it's in English and in Spanish, and what each school district is mandated to do on that website. So to spell it out, it's just vcoe.org/homeless.
Wow, that is amazing and fantastic. It is sad, the problem that is creating us to have this conversation and basically creating your job. But there are solutions. There is help to be had. Last question. If there was some resource or someone handed you a blank check, and this is just kind of talking to you personally, what would you add to the mix that you feel would improve or help the situation?
Housing.
Thank you.
Really, it is. It's housing. I sit on both the Housing Trust Fund of Ventura County, which is like a bank that gives loan to low income housing developers, pre-development loans, planning loans, things like that, just quick turnaround so that they can get these projects going. Because even though they've streamlined so much because of the crisis that we're in, it still takes a couple of years minimum to get anything from the thought process to the drawing board to breaking ground.
Wow. Thank you so much. Seriously. And I have a feeling we'll be speaking again on many of a myriad of subjects.
Of course.
But for today, that will be all. And I want to thank our audience for being here with us. Thank you again, Cathy Nye. And I am MB Hanrahan here for Our Ventura TV, and I will see you next time.